Hello, I'm Mrs. J, and today we're going to work on using the rational zeros theorem to find all the zeros of a polynomial. This is in Module 12. So if we start with this, first thing we need to do is find all the possible factors. So we have the factors of the constant, which is 3, and the factors of the leading term. The leading term is the one with the largest exponent, so this is our leading term, so we take the factors of 4. We don't need to worry about the negative on the 3 because we're going to take positive and negative of every value. So we take plus or minus. Factors of 3, the only numbers that go into 3 are 1 and 3. The factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4 because these are the only values that go evenly into 4. So we take plus or minus 1 divided by 1, which is 1, 3 divided by 1, which is 3, and then take 2 and divide them into it. 1/2, 3/2. And then take 4, 1/4, 3/4. So it's the positive and negative of all of these values. To find ones that will work, you take these values and plug them in until you find one that's a 0. If we plug in 1, 4 times 1 cubed plus 12 times 1 squared minus 1 minus 3. And I think that gives us 12. It does not equal 0, so 1 is not a factor, or a 0. Try another number. I think negative 1's also going to be too small because of these values. I'm going to try negative 3. And so if we plug in negative 3, we get 0. So if you calculate all of this, 4 times calculating just this one, negative 3 cubed times 4 is a negative 108. Negative 3 squared times 12 is a positive 108. Negative and negative is a positive 3 and a minus 3, which equals 0. So negative 3 is a 0. Once you find that, you can divide it. Remember, you take the numbers from here, 4, 12, negative 1, negative 3. And you bring down the 4. Negative 3 times 4 is a negative 12. Adding down, we get 0. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. Adding down, we get a negative 1. Negative 3 times a negative 1 is positive 3. Adding down, we get a remainder of 0. If you didn't get a 0 here, you did something wrong because this says it works. This was cubed, so this is squared. 4x squared, 0x minus 1. So we know one of our answers is negative 3. This one wanted the zeros and not the factors. So then we can just take this and set it equal to 0. Add the 1 over. Divide by 4. And then take the square root of both sides. When we take the square root, it leaves a positive and negative number. So we get x equals plus or minus square root of 1/4 is 1/2. So we have negative 3, a positive 1/2, and a negative 1/2. And these were values up here because we had plus or minus 1/2. try another one. So g of x equals 6x cubed minus 4d1x squared minus 8x plus 7. And we want plus or minus the factors of 7 divided by the factors of 6. We do that, the numbers that divide into 7 are 1 and 7, and the numbers that divide into 6 are 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So then you take these values and divide each of them by what's in the denominator. So we have plus or minus 1, plus or minus 7. And then dividing it by 2, we have 1/2, and we have 1/7. Then we divide by 3, plus or minus 1/3, plus or minus 7/3. And then divide by 6, plus or minus 1/6, plus or minus 7/6. And none of these reduce, so all of these are possible. Only 3 of them are answers, but all of them are possible. So you plug in a value. I can already tell with this 41, these other numbers are so much smaller. 1 and negative 1's not going to work. Try 7. 6 times 7 cubed minus 41 times 7 squared minus 8 times 7 plus 7. 6 times 7 cubed minus 41 times 7 squared minus 56 plus 7. $20.58. 0. So 7 is a 0, which means one of our answers is x equals 7. Well, we can make this smaller now by dividing by that 7. Sorry. So we have 6 and negative 41, negative 8, and 7. First thing we do, bring down the 6. 6 times 7 is 42. Adding down, we get 1. 7 times 1 is 7. Adding down, we get a negative 1. 7 times a negative 1 is a negative 7. Adding down, we get 0. You need to get the remainder of 0, because that's what this said. It would be 0. This was cubed, goes down by 1 degree. 6x squared plus x minus 1. And then you can factor it. Or you can use, this is factorable, I think. But you can factor, or you could use the quadratic formula. X equals a negative 1 plus or minus the square root 1 squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. This will be 25 over 2, which gets us 1 plus or minus 5 over 2. 12, those are 12s. 2 times 6 is 12. And then that gives us 1 plus 5 over 12 and 1 minus 5 over 12. 6 over 12 is 1/2. Negative 4 over 12 is negative 1/3. So we get 1/2 and a negative 1/3. And that's all there is to those.